Do you like Gunpla? Do you like Gunpla with guns? Huge guns? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Mecha Gaikotsu's top 10 biggest baddest Gundam guns, the sequel to 2020's top 10 biggest baddest Gundam swords. First off, as for the rules, this list only contains kits that I've actually built, so if I haven't built it, it's not on the list, so that means some big guns, like the actual gun called the Big Gun, is not on this list, nor is this particular big gun that is definitely a gun that is big. Very big. Not on the list. Should be though. So the metric here is sheer length. You cannot argue with length, and that's the one qualifier that rules them all here. So even though there's some obscenely awesome kick-ass high-grade big guns out there, they're just not big enough. There's also a couple of guns that didn't make the list because I didn't plain notice them until after the actual video. What the hell? Goddamn European cost of energy crisis. Power's gone. If only there was some way to foot the lucky bill in 90 seconds or less. Oh wait, there is. This video was sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Are you looking for a game you can play while building some Gunpla? Just get that kit unboxed, slap down Raid, hit auto and grind away while you get your kit built. Use my QR code or the links below to download Raid yourself to your mobile phone or PC. This year Raid just celebrated its 3rd anniversary, so I'm going to count down my top 3 factions from Raid. The Shadowkin. This faction is Asian and Japanese inspired, rockin' Tengu, Oni, Samurai. What more could you want? 2. The Undead Hordes. I love skeletons. There's one inside of all of us. And that's one thing the Undead Hordes has in bucket loads. And pumpkins too. It's almost that time of year. 1. The Demon Spawn. Honestly, it's straight up demons and devils. Nuff said. Oh yeah, and like I said, I love skeletons. So here's a word from one.
Howdy, skeleton crew. The Death Knight Hunt is here, and I know what you're thinking. It's an event to celebrate me, right? Wrong. It's an event for a new Death Knight. Ultimate Death Knight, because what even is life, right? But if you log in and play 7 times between now and October 27th, Ultimate Death Knight is yours for free. Yeah, I'm as mad as you are. And if you enter promo code DKRises, you get enough free items to instantly upgrade Ultimate Death Knight to level 50, 5-star Ascension, which is just insanity, really.
And if you're a new player, you can use my link or scan the QR code right here and get a free starter pack worth almost $30. A free champion Aina, and also this cool in-game loot. You will find your rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. So starting off the list in the number 10 spot is a kit that, even though it's a master grade, can compete up on a shelf with perfect grades and almost win in a way. That is no simple feat. What I'm talking about is the master grade Psycho Zaku Verka. That absolutely huge backpack is ridiculous, and in good Gundam Thunderbolt style is absolutely loaded with weaponry, including tons of guns. But the weapon that I'm going to be talking about today isn't necessarily unique to this particular kit. This right here is the Giant Bazooka. This is no joke. This measures in at about 9 inches or 22.86 centimeters, and, well, this is a big old gun. You can also find this on various other kits, including this year's Master Grade Rick Dom. So if you want to get yourself this big weapon without getting a kit that's that big with that big of a price, you can get it with the Rick Dom, but I highly recommend this Psycho Zaku Verka. It may not be necessarily for beginners, but if you like guns, it's got a lot of them and one big one. Blasting now into the 9th position is the Fats. And the Fats is called the Fats for a reason, and not just because it's the full armor, Double Zeta. This right here is a kit that is thick in all the right places, and by saying thick in all the right places, I mean thick in all of the places, including that absolutely massive cannon. Now, when I was making this list, I did not expect this kit to end up in only the 9th position. So this may not have the most length, but this is a gun with a whole lot of girth. This right here is the Hyper Mega Cannon, really the crown jewel of this particular kit, which is an absolutely phenomenal kit. So 2 kits in, 2 of them are master grades, and 2 happen to be Verkas. For me, this is one of the 3 weapons that actually makes me want to make this list. This is good in all the right ways. It's big, it's extremely detailed, and it's ridiculously cool. You will see this in any collection. It is massive and almost, just almost, overshadows the actual Gundam itself. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. The Hyper Mega Cannon comes in at 11 inches or 28 centimeters. So wave riding into the 8th position is another Zeta Gundam. This is the Master Grade Zeta 2.0. This is a kit that comes with a standard beam rifle and a little bit more than that. So inside of this kit we get what is known as the FXA-03M2 Hyper Mega Launcher. One big blue gun measuring in at 11.42 inches or 29 centimeters. So even though it does not look like it or feel like it, this is actually bigger than the FATS's cannon. Well, technically, lengthwise. Now when I reviewed the Master Grade Zeta 2.0, I know a lot of you guys said this is an absolutely phenomenal kit, and you were right. This impressed me in a lot of ways, and I did not even expect to get this massive cannon inside of the box. Now, this isn't the most detailed weapon around, but it is big. Did I also mention this gun is actually bigger than the Perfect Grade's beam rifle? That's a big gun. Jumping now into the 7th position, and the only 1/44th scale kit to actually make it into this list, well, is actually two kits. It's the Real Grade High Nu Gundam and the Real Grade Hyper Bazooka. First off, I'll mention for this particular video, I am not taking this down off of the shelf. This is so problematic to actually prop this up on two stands and make it sort of work out. So although this is an amazing looking bazooka, dealing with it sometimes isn't really. As for the length right here, this comes in at a decent 12 inches or 30.5 centimeters, and this is one beast of a cannon, sold separately to the Real Grade High Nu Gundam as a premium Bandai exclusive, well, DLC of sorts. This is worth every penny. It is absolutely gorgeous, and debatably one of, if not the nicest looking weapon on this list. And if you take the scale into consideration, this being a real grade, being 1/44th scale and very, very small, this cannon is extreme. If we saw this in Master Grade, it would be over 17 inches long, if my math is right, because it probably isn't, I failed math, but it would be over 17 inches long and number 2 on this list. Now if this was in Perfect Grade scale, it would almost be 30 inches long and win by a big margin. Honestly though, if you've got yourself a Real Grade High Nu Gundam, or you're planning to get yourself a Real Grade High Nu Gundam, I highly recommend splashing out for the extra. Swooping its way into the 6th position on the back of a base jabber is the Master Grade Jesta. Now this isn't just your standard Master Grade Jesta, this right here is the Master Grade Jesta Shizar type. And I have to say, as time goes by, I realize more and more that the Master Grade Jesta is probably the best Master Grade kit to come out of Gundam Unicorn. It's held up better than the rest for me. Now the Shizar type version of the Jesta is pretty much the same with a little bit of a different color scheme and some new options. One of those new options is this right here, the Mega Beam Launcher. Now this is exactly the same Mega Beam Launcher we would have seen with various other releases, including the Master Grade Riesel Commander type and the Master Grade Riesel AB Defensor unit. Those are ridiculous kits with a really cool cannon, but what makes this one even bigger and better? Well, that would be the awesome tripod. This particular version of the Mega Beam Launcher is rocking a grip and a stock for the Jesta to use its sniper style, and plenty of articulation for aiming this absolute beast of a cannon. This has to be one of my all-time favorite Master Grade accessories. It's extremely unique, it seems really, well, grunty in a way. I know the Jesta isn't necessarily a grunt, but to actually have a heavy-duty weapon from another mobile suit on a tripod to use as a sniper rifle, that is so cool. Moving now into the second half of the list, and in the 5th position is the first Perfect Grade that we've seen so far. Now everyone likes the Perfect Grade Unicorn Gundam, especially Bandai. That's why they pop out a new variant every single time they get a chance. Now most of these variants all come with one particular weapon that is quite large. The Perfect Grade Unicorn is a big kit, so that means it needs big weapons, and the Hyper Bazooka is its biggest. Measuring at 13 inches after its extension gimmick, this is mainly just size, and a whole lot of size at that. If you're into a lot of details, this doesn't really have that. It's all in grey with minimal detail, and isn't necessarily mind-blowing in any sort of way besides being big. But yeah, it is big, and that's the point here. This comes in at 13 inches or 33 centimeters. Atmospherically entering the list on a trail of GN particles, at the number 4th spot is the Perfect Grade 007 Sword G. So just like we would have seen with the Perfect Grade Unicorn, which is a big kit with big weapons, this is also a big kit with some big weapons. This right here is a variant of the standard Perfect Grade Gundam 00. This one came out a couple of years later, and this is the 7 Sword G. It comes with swords, 7 swords, all of which are particularly massive, including this massive Buster sword. But as for the G in 7 Sword G, that stands for gun. And that particular gun is the GN Sword 2 Blaster, and as the name suggests, it's both a GN sword and a blaster. And the Perfect Grade version of this measures in at a whopping 13 inches. So this is exactly the same as the Unicorn's Hyper Bazooka when it comes to length, but this has a whole lot more going on. We've got a bunch of different colors, we've got a massive clear blade on the side to make this a GN sword, and there's a lot more to look at on this particular weapon. Now, if you were tossing up between the Perfect Grade Unicorn and the Perfect Grade 007 sword, I would 100% recommend the Perfect Grade Unicorn. It's a much better kit in my opinion. But if you like massive weapons, a lot of swords, then you might be considering the Perfect Grade 007 sword G. Moving now into the top 3, and you might be somewhat surprised to realize that this is a Master Grade, somehow beating out a couple of Perfect Grades. Now here's a question for you. Do you think 2 big guns are better than 1? Well, then you might be looking for the Master Grade Buster Gundam. This rocks 2 big cannons round back that separately would not make the list, but these 2 big guns can combine into one even bigger gun. So the 2 guns we have in here is a 350mm gun launcher and a 94mm high energy rifle. Both can combine into either one of 2 forms, which are the anti-armor shotgun or the hyper impulse long range sniper rifle, both of which are the same length. So when these are attached end to end, that is 13.5 inches or 34 centimeters. It is, however, all length and no girth. So if you like your guns fat, this might not be for you. This is almost like a big, long straw of a weapon, but it is a weapon with a lot of variation. You can use it in 2 halves, use it combined in 2 different ways, and the articulation round back, combined with the rock-solid, awesome Seed X frame kit, means that this is a very good kit and one I highly, highly recommend, which also has a big gun. So now into the top 2, and in the second position is a Gundam that is so perfect it's got perfect in its name twice. That of course is the Perfect Grade Perfect Strike Gundam. When it comes to Perfect Grade kits, usually you expect a whole lot inside of the box, but this is a kit that brings it to a whole new level. This of course is the Perfect Grade Strike Gundam, now with the Ale Striker Pack, Sword Striker Pack, and Launcher Striker Pack. The last one there is the one we're going to be talking about. That is this, the Agni 320mm Hyper Impulse Cannon. In this kit, this measures in at a whopping 16 inches or 40.64 centimeters. This may not be the longest gun on the list, but to me it is the most impressive. This has such great colors, great detail, it looks phenomenal. What Bandai did with this kit and the renewal of the Strike Gundam to make this kit really did impress me, and they went and did a whole lot more than I expected. I thought they'd really half-ass the extra weapons on it, but they did not. This is a feast for the eyes. There's so much going on in this weapon, and it is huge. You get that Perfect Strike Gundam up on your shelf, and I doubt there's much else that will outdo it when it comes to sheer size. If you're a fan of Gundam Seed, I say this is a kit you definitely need in your collection, and if you love big guns, it's also a kit you need in your collection. So here we are, the number 1 spot of my top 10 biggest, baddest Gundam gun list. So yeah, when it comes to the biggest Gundam gun, at least the biggest Gundam gun in my collection, that title goes to the Master Grade Deep Striker. Ooh, or should I say Dust Striker at this point.
I am an archaeologist.
So yeah, the Deep Striker, or its full name, the MSA-0011S Gundam Booster Unit Type Plan 303E, well, this kit is rocking up on its right-hand shoulder a Battleship Use Mega Particle Cannon. So as you can assume from that name, this is a cannon off of a battleship. Funnily enough, an Irish-class battlecruiser. Hopefully it doesn't shoot potatoes. But yeah, seriously, this is a master-grade kit with a 22.5-inch gun. That is 57 centimeters, almost 2 feet of pure cannon. So once again, like a lot of these guns, this is mainly length but not much girth. It's got some great details, chromed out parts, and a very cool fabric sleeve on the wire. This really is a show-stopping display piece. The detail on here is extremely nice, and it mounts onto the Deep Striker extremely well. Now the Deep Striker doesn't move around a lot, but what it does do is have guns. And yeah, that's plural. This also rocks the Beam Smart gun that we would have seen with the various versions of the S Gundam, which is a massive gun in its own right, measuring in at 10 inches, as in, if this was included in the list in any of its forms on the S Gundam, XS Gundam, on this kit right here, then it would have displaced the Psycho Gundam off the end of the list, coming in at the 10th position. So this kit not only rocks the one big gun, it rocks two. So yeah, if you're looking for a kit that is rocking big guns, this is the kit for you. However, I will mention, if you do like articulation, if you do like to pose your kit, or if you like your Gundam looking like a Gundam, this one might not be for you. But it does have a big gun. 2 of them. So anyway, that right there is it for the list of my top 10 biggest baddest Gundam guns. Now, most definitely, I did not include every single big Gundam gun out there. So if there's something I missed, something you particularly like as a big bad Gundam gun, then drop it down there in the comments. What is your top 5, top 10, or even just your number 1 biggest baddest Gundam gun? Let us know. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. And as always, I'll see you next time.